Well, what's going on, our friends of film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching and/or listening? I definitely just lost Frank, and there he is again. He's back. He's back from the dead. I got kind of worried there for a second. Like, I guess I'll start it, and as soon as I started, he just disappears off the face of the earth. But hey, it's all right. I think we're here. I think we're finally here. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah,
Are you still alive?
definitely. I am still alive. I'm working on some internet issues. Apparently, I had to reset some stuff, and then right as we clicked go live, that's when everything else decided it wanted to reset itself again, which is very, whatever, par for the course for us. You know what I mean?
Where's the screen? We have it now, just sitting in our repertoire of pictures. We have this now, so I think that's going to be put to some good use here.
It'll be fitting.
Yeah, it's rough out here. I don't know. I was letting my computer take the going live aspect. Maybe it'll help. Who knows? But get off there. There we go. No, we're back. We're live. Screw it. We're doing it live. Anyway, I might have just been the opening act. I don't know. Maybe I can tag you in, as they say.
We can try, but it's not being my internet's not being nice to me right now.
I know. Such is life.
Well, let's try to get down to the business while we have a chance, while the internet is being somewhat agreeable at the moment. We are here.
Yeah.
Talking about Fallout, the Demon in the Snow. Not so much the normal introduction to the channel we usually give you on this show, but hey, let's get right down to business. We are here to talk about the Demon in the Snow. It's that time of the week again for an episode of Fallout. The fourth episode of season 2 continues the show's run of excellence, expanding the storylines for Lucy, the Ghoul, Maximus, and Norm in fun and unexpected ways, to say the least. The Demon in the Snow features some extremely enjoyable nods to the Fallout video games, including a monster that I know Jeremy has been dying to see on screen ever since it was teased at the end of season 1.
Yes.
And let's get right down to it. Obviously, we get down to a pretty cool scene that happens before the events of the television show. The Demon in the Snow 5 power armor, and those early suits left something to be desired, to say the least. He hinted at this last season when he confronted Bud Askins over the flaws in the armor's design that got so many of his friends killed during the Alaskan campaign. Now we actually get to see that in action. This scene is very interesting because it shows us the Death Claw before the apocalypse. Most monsters in Fallout, obviously, Jeremy, you know this, are results of radiation that happened because of the bombs dropping. But Death Claws were created prior to that. That's some pretty deep lore, and I like that the show didn't balk at including it. Jeremy, what's the significance of seeing just of this scene as a whole, but then actually seeing Death Claw, at least in this small form, before we get to see a better look at it at the end of the episode? We'll get to that later. But I mean, as the resident expert in Fallout, break the scene down for me. How cool was it, and how significant do you think it's going to be moving forward?
I mean, holy shit, that was terrifying. If there is a monster of the Fallout universe that's as iconic as the series itself, it would definitely be the Death Claw. I was kind of left scratching my head because I'm like, do you maybe want to explain why in the hell there's a Death Claw pre-war? Before the bombs fell and mutated everything and made everything huge. You come across like mosquitoes and murder hornets in real life, and then you had a little dose of radiation, and then fuckers become like the size of like kindergartners. I'm like, huh?
It's like, I mean, what does it? Yeah, I mean, how does this work in the game pre-war? I mean, obviously, this is a pretty big thing to show. What does it mean?
Yeah, well, to me, that means that somehow, even before that, these creatures were made. I mean, I just assumed that they were just like a mutated, not like a lizard or like not a gecko. There are geckos specifically, actually, in New Vegas, and there's fire geckos too, which are annoying little shits, but. couple rounds have led to the dome, and they're taken care of pretty easily. Or chameleons maybe is what I'm thinking of. They're just a product of the bombs. That's what's really interesting. Is I'm like, well, wait a minute, why is this thing walking around? That's first of all a terrifying image, and it should be. We do get the mirrored, Cooper when he's knocked over in his power armor and he's staring at this thing. It's like that is a moment to where you shit yourself. And then, like we see, you got a picture. We see at the end where he's still got that horrified look on his face. That's exactly the face you should have. So, seeing that thing pre-war gives me some questions. I don't really know because, like, there's not. I mean, there are things that are pre-war that are explained. There's things in the lore, but the interesting thing about Alaska is it's I was kind of excited. That's actually a DLC. Operation Anchorage is a add-on to Fallout 3 that you can play, which goes into the Battle of Anchorage. What we see. The thing is, though, it's a virtual reality thing. It's like you have to go through a virtual simulation of the Battle of Anchorage, which is probably one of the biggest and most important battles in the Fallout lore. And it suggests that it's like, maybe it's not as accurate or like what really happened, because as we know from Call of Duty, history is written by the victor, right? The details get kind of muddied in the water. So it's like maybe this isn't as accurate as what happened. So I love that they actually are saying now this is what happened. We're seeing this. We're not seeing a simulation. So that does cement that into some confirmed lore. But still, I don't know who had access to this, because even that Chinese army that came in, they're like, oh, look at this big tin can. That's cool. And they're all like, well, we're going to be putting these soon too, and then we're all going to be in the same boat together. The future's here. I'm like, yeah, but who had this thing? Because even Cooper says, like, yeah, that wasn't us, man. This was this monster. It came through and kind of saved our asses a little bit. Yeah, I'd love to know who had access to that, and who let it loose.
I mean, what is, you talked about this play out in the game, because I have a feeling they're obviously going to tweak it a little bit for the TV show, but I mean for the purpose of how that monster signify.
I didn't hear the lot. What does it signify? If it signifies, I'm saying somebody had already been doing experiments on something. I mean, I'm not really sure if there was a confirmed origin of these death claws. I mean, we're just kind of left to assume it's a mutated, something from our world. Like, again, it just a little dose of radiation and it makes shit terrifying. Like Yaoguais. Yaoguais are just mutated bears. Stingwings are probably mosquitoes. Bloatflies are just kind of like big horseflies in the sky. Cazadors are the murder hornets. Like, they're real things that you can, but it's not something that I can put my finger on that I'm like, that's a death claw, or like that's what will become a death claw in our world. So it could be the product of something that somebody's doing some genetic experimentation. Which actually I added a couple photos in there and I tried to rearrange them the right way. There is something that I definitely caught that I don't know if I'm not sure if you caught it. But there is something I want to talk about with the guy who I named the Lunch Boy, who talks to Norm. But Lunch Boy dropped something, and there's a meme I saw where it's like the guy's watching. It's like, and then his eyes get huge. He's like, "Oh God!" The realization. I'm like, "Yeah." I paused it. And I had to explain it to Rachel real quick. I'm like, that is important, and holy crap, that's a whole thing to get into. But in that same vein, somebody's doing some experiments on some animals and shit, and that's probably where it came from. Now, as to who, I have no idea. I'd like to know who.
Well, I mean, we've already seen Lucy's dad doing some experiments with the Neuralink chips that he puts in the back of people's skulls. Who's to say that he's not doing other experiments, or the other experiments weren't ongoing before the bombs dropped? I can't imagine that dropping the bombs was the only plan for Vault Tech if they had to try to run the world.
They were doing some stuff, yeah.
Yeah, they were probably into some pretty shady shit. So yeah, I mean, it could be any number of things really. But moving on to going back to Cooper's introduction. After Cooper's introduction, rather, we skip back to the present where we catch up with Maximus, who was only a few seconds away from what he had done at the end of the last episode. I don't know where I had my picture of that.
I rearranged them. I'm sorry. I tried to put them in some sort of order, or put them together at least.
I'll use that because that's the first one I found of him. After Cooper's introduction, we skip back to the present where we catch up first with Maximus. The episode picks up right where the last one left off, just as Maximus had murdered Commonwealth emissary Xander to keep him from slaughtering a ghoul. Brother track their location and forcing Max to pretend he's a pitcher will avoid the brother rating all of it, at least in theory. That's a pretty terrible actor, though. Fallout continues to have a lot of fun with the power armor, using the power armor's comedy as he bumps into stuff and stumbles all over his words. And the deep electronic voice in the suit. It takes Dane all 2 seconds to realize that something's off when he and Maximus get back to the Brotherhood's blimp. Maximus doesn't even attempt to hide the truth from them or what he's planning to do next, and that's kill Elder Quintus. Since he would undoubtedly slit Max's throat for offering the Commonwealth emissary against orders. Max's story has gotten super complicated so far this season, more so than anything I thought we were going to get from him. Where do you think this one's going? Because again, I don't know anything about where his character goes in the games, but I know they're probably doing a lot of things differently. Obviously, this cold fusion thing, which just kind of only partially played in to the plot so far of this season, not as much as it did last season. Obviously, that's going to be important again. Where is this going for Max, do you see, and are you as excited about his crazy character arc this season as I am?
I'm curious to see, because I think he even gets asked by the Elder, what's your plan? And he's even just like, there was no plan. I'm just like, yeah, I think you're just kind of winging it, brother. Like, I don't know what you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants right now. I just think it's funny that the irony of the Elder talking about how the Brotherhood was founded in the first place was because one man decided to, rebel and say, screw this and do my own thing and, screw the government. When he's talking about Maxton, which I'm assuming he's still alive, or somebody in the Maxton family line is still alive, which, if there's somebody who's the guy of, the Brotherhood, it's the Maxton. Like I said, these are all original characters, so I'm still wondering if, what Dane says to him, the Commonwealth's going to come kill us all. I'm like, yeah, you might have a big problem on your hands. Because Fallout 4 is that's where you're in the Commonwealth over in Boston. And if there's somebody who, at least other than maybe the Capital Wasteland in DC, that chapter of the Brotherhood, one of those two would seem to have themselves pretty well organized. So not a great idea. And that's, as far as I know, with Fallout 4, that's where Elder Maxton still is, as far as I'm aware. They've been showing, and I'm jumping around, but we saw another leader of one of the factions in this game, with the Kings, and I got a little sad. But I as soon as I saw the white suit jacket, I'm like, no, yeah, no, that I'd love to know what the hell happened to the Kings, man. All of a sudden they turned into ghouls, like the feral ones too. Like, what the shit? But in terms of the important leaders of these different factions we see, man, I'd love to see somebody at least alive for once from the game, that we all know. Maxton would be an important one to bring in. So we could be clashing with West Coast versus East Coast. I don't know. That's an interesting plot point.
Could be. I mean, they're not that far away from the West Coast. I mean, if they're in what used to be Las Vegas, that's all of it. Well, probably a long walk, of course, but I mean, you're talking about a 5-hour drive.
Yeah, they went from they went from Southern California to Vegas. But I'm talking. Yeah, that's not terribly far, but yeah.
But obviously, things escalated pretty quickly. This is one of my favorite shots of the entire show. She goes.
I think I agree with Judy. He's like, oh, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, God damn, that was awesome.
Let's see.
I like her.
Things spiraled out fast. Fallout solid job of building tension in the climactic sequences of the episode, where the Brotherhood Elder is trying to negotiate with Thaddeus while he wards off a panic attack. Dane is trying to keep the children on the base safe and steals a cold fusion device, while Maximus confronts Quintus and gets into a shootout. Maximus is not able to kill Quintus and ends up fleeing with the cold fusion relic. and Thaddeus as the base devolves into a bloody skirmish. And I mean, ironically enough, the one thing he was trying to avoid is the one thing that he ended up causing all in the span of about an hour or so. So it didn't work out very well for him.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where does Max go from here? What do you think?
Well, if we are assuming that is the pseudo, Area 51, where they just came from, that does look like a whole lot of desert. So I'm not sure which direction they ran in, but I don't know, because I'm like, the only other thing out there that we really know about is the fact that him and dude went over to that Sunset Sarsaparilla factory, which I think you have a shot of, that they went to, where they had all the ghoul kids and the smooth skins. Somewhere there's a picture of it. There in the hell. There we go. I mean, that's the only thing that we saw that was out there, really, that where he was collecting. I love he's even trying to get a box and like scoop all of his caps into a box like it was gonna matter. Like, dude, now's not maybe the time, but sure. And I wish we had the shot of Maximus holding up the laser pistol, and I was gonna make the joke. I'm like, as they were leaving the Sunset Factory, I was like, did you guys grab the gun? Did you guys grab the legendary laser pistol in there? No? Okay, well, because when I see Max confront Quintus, I'm like, I wonder if that's it. I mean, it looks like a normal laser pistol. It doesn't look like the special Sunset Sarsaparilla one you get for finding all the star caps, but semantics. I like to dream about things like that. I don't know. I would love for them to maybe run into like Lucy and the ghoul again at some point. Like I like that we're all kind of spread out and we're all doing our own little quest lines here, but it'd be nice to have them all on screen again doing whatever the hell they're trying to do. Especially since we have a new problem at the Vegas Strip, which I'm sure again we'll get into, but you might need some more firepower and a whole lot more drugs, apparently.
Apparently, we'll talk. Lucy kind of channeling her inner ghoul here in just a minute, but yeah, this is interesting to me because, like I said, Maximus's story arc in this one is kind of the most intriguing to me so far this year because he's because in the first season we see him as kind of like the mechanic to the guy who's in the suit, but he obviously, for crazy reasons, he has to get in the suit and do some real work. And he has evolved into kind of a badass on his own, all in a very short amount of time, to somebody who is willing to basically assassinate another leader in an effort to try to stop a war or to keep one from starting or whatever, however you want to look at it. And then eventually kind of pushing us down that road anyway, because I thought it was interesting that like when all shit hits the fan and him and Thaddeus leave, you see all these, and this picture does not do it justice. These ships are all shooting each other. The one ship that's above the hangars actually crashes into the sand dune, and some shit pops off real big. So it's not, so this picture does, you can kind of see the explosion of the ones in the middle. But I mean, it turns into like a Star Wars style firefight between these big ships. It was pretty cool. But it's interesting to see his character evolve so rapidly into something completely different than what he once was. And we've got to see last season him kind of just being like that mechanic, kind of mature himself. We saw an episode or so ago him as a child and what kind of began this whole journey for him. And now he's just driving the crazy rocket powered pickaxe into some dude's head, and he's trying to kill an elder and doing all kinds of crazy shit that is like way outside the box of anything that we would have expected him to do. So,
and now he's got the cold fusion thing that they're all clamoring over. So he's, the quote Spider-Man, he's kind of got the power of the sun in the palm of his hand. I was like, that thing is pretty important. That seems like it's gonna, whoever's got a hold of that has got basically, the infinite power, the means to do whatever you kind of want to do. Maybe he's going to take that somewhere to somebody that might be able to use it. I don't know if they end up going to the Strip, because the Strip seems like it's seen better days, and that's, current climate included. That might be a way to kind of bring that thing back on its feet, because I don't know what the hell happened, but used to be a little more lively. So, but if there is in fact Mr. House that's still around, or some, you probably don't want that thing falling into Hank McLean's hands either. So, that might be a plot point going forward as well. You don't want him taking that back.
Yeah, another thing that we kind of got the payoff from the last episode is when Lucy gets rescued by the ghoul, and he ends up taking her to the New California Republic little camp that they had set up, and they gave her an IV drip of let's just say the good shit. the Demon Snow has it's like I said earlier, it was a fun episode for Lucy the Ghoul. Fresh as off of her escape from the Legion, Lucy wakes up at the New California Republic camp on a medicine drip. The Ghoul might be callous, but his choice to save Lucy shows that he's still got a little bit of a heart in there somewhere. There's a great moment where the NCR soldiers ask Lucy if she's searching for someone she loves or hates, and the Ghoul delights in the Vault Dweller's complicated feelings for her father, and he gives us that great line, "What say you, Miss McLean?" Which is one of my favorite lines. Yeah. One of my favorite things that he says. Let's see. The NCR stocks them up on weapons, and then they hit the road. For one, I always like seeing a crate full of guns. That always makes my heart happy.
Hell yeah!
And I was like, hey, it looks kind of like my closet, but.
Yeah, I was like, I saw the crate, Mike. I bet you there's some cool stuff in there. There's a mirror's like right on top. Look at that.
And then obviously, as they're walking, Lucy starts getting a little bit of the itch. I got to see in that old Dave Chappelle skit where he's like,
she's doing her best Chappelle. Hey, you got any more of them drugs?
I thought it was funny when she's like, why is the air so itchy? And I was like, what? Right? What is air itchy? But because she doesn't know what the hell she's dealing with in that moment, it kind of makes sense. I don't know, Jeremy, let me ask you this. Does this happen in the game? Where does it go in the game? And obviously, how kind of hilarious was the scene to begin with?
The funny thing is, I have to be honest, I actually don't really bother too much or mess with drugs because don't do drugs, kids. I really just don't mess with any of the drugs in Fallout because I'm like, yeah, some of them give you some good stats or boosts to your stats. That might help you in a pinch. You might need to get through something, but there is that. I mean, I love that is brought up because that is something that can happen to you. You can get addicted to alcohol and you can also get addicted to drugs in the game. There is a way to try to get around it, like he says. Like there is things you can do to try to alleviate that, and it will have effects on you as it does. Like I said, I'm a weird straight edge. I'm more of a wherever that Created Guns was. That's my answer to most shit in Fallout. That's my answer. I'll just shoot it.
That's my drug. That's my drug.
Yeah, exactly. I put enough bullets into something. Eventually, it'll sort itself out. Yeah, but I know there are effects to it, and then there are perks too, where it's like, oh, you won't have a chance to be addicted to alcohol or to drugs. It's, you can play with the effects and kind of build something up to yourself because you will have to start. As the ghoul says, he's like, well, yeah, you could either push through it, it's gonna suck, you're gonna be throwing up, or just keep just do more drugs. Just slowly drip. Just keep drip feeding yourself this shit, and you'll be fine.
That meme's already out there too, which is funny. I've seen it on Twitter.
Oh God, I don't doubt it.
It's just a picture. It's a picture that's like this, and the bottom caption says "Do more drugs." And I was like, "Yep."
Yeah, I love that. But they did specifically say which one it was, and I had to look it up because again, I don't mess with the drugs in Fallout. I'm sorry. He gave her some buff out, which is a highly advanced brand of steroids that increases your strength, reflexes, and endurance, which, I mean, we kind of see that. So before the Great War, highly addictive, popular choice among the pre-war athletes. So, some weird Lance Armstrong people, probably. Amateurs, widespread, military. Oh, psycho buff, Jesus. Oh, you mix that's buff tats. That's men tats and buff out. And we're talking about combining it with psycho. Jesus. Like all these drugs, man, it does some weird shit to you. But I think the important part is that it does increase your strength and I think your endurance and your reflexes, yeah. Apparently in this. It does different effects, and I think in different games. But we do see Lucy kind of just yeah, I thought when I saw that in the trailer, like that slow motion bullshit, I was like, is that a reference to the VATS? The VAT systems, like where when you go to aim at something, the time slows down. You use your pit boy to like choose your target. You want to shoot him in the limb, or you want to shoot him in the head, hit him center mass, whatever. And then slow motion, bullet goes out. No, apparently this is just drugged out Lucy, who's just in a weird. This is called locking in, kids. This is what that means. She got shit done.
Yeah, there
also,
was
that thump that combat rifle she picked up, that thump that gun made when it went off, I was like, God damn. The sound design, that was cool.
I thought there was some trivia on IMDb about the VATS. When you mentioned it, it kind of reminded me, but every piece of trivia for this episode is outrageously long, and I really didn't feel like going
through I could maybe
them.
try to shorten it up for you, but like I thought that was a joke about VATS because like she's doing the slow motion putting a bullet through somebody. Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, I can't find. I'm not going to read through all these because they're way too long. But yeah, another one that I like was like at the end of it all, she has this totally happy look on her face. She's covered in blood from the one guy she had to kill who was trying to choke her out, and she's just like, "Hey, I just channeled my my inner ghoul on this one." While she wipes out the kings, unfortunately, and then of course after taking out the Elvis impersonating zombies, welcome to the strip. On they go.
Right. Actually, yeah, there it is, right in the middle. The guy between the two of them, laying dead on the ground. Like I said, that's the leader who is just named the King. I saw the white suit jack. I'm like, hey, oh no, he's also a ghoul. Damn it! Like I said, he's from the game. He's actually. It's funny that we're seeing these people that are actually in the game, like Caesar, who's well past his expiration date. Something happened to the damn the Kings in Freeside, which they mentioned Freeside. I was kind of wondering if they're going to do that first. Freeside's the town that exists around, like just outside of the strip itself. So you go through Freeside first, and then that's where the Kings reside. That's where Mick and Ralph's gun shop is. The Atomic Wrangler, I believe, is in there too, which is I think one of the hotels. Which we saw a shot of the ghoul, like falling out of a window at the Atomic Wrangler. So I don't know if that's probably coming soon, but yeah, R.I.P. to the King. That sucks. He had a cool quest because like you get the half robot dog that he named Rex that you end up helping, and it becomes your companion. So that's the replacement dog meat in Vegas. It's not actually dog meat. It's the little robo dog called Rex. But we take that here. We always love the dog companion.
Yeah, I remember now that I actually had something in my notes about VATS. It says they eventually arrived at the main entrance to New Vegas and was being guarded by a bunch of feral ghouls in King's outfits. That would be a gang of Elvis impersonators from Fallout New Vegas, the video game. Yep. They've fallen on hard times since then, and even harder times now that Lucy is drugged out and ready to blast her way through the gate. She probably murders everyone with glee while the ghoul watches on in amusement. It's a gonzo scene that's total Fallout. Lucy even strikes the classic vault dweller pose with a thumbs up. And we get a slow motion shot similar to VATS. So yeah.
I see. I'm like, I love how the ghoul's even secretly just kind of really fucking excited. Like he just gives her a little wink, like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "I'm kind of here for this though." He's like, "I'll just let her do her thing." He's like a proud dad. He's like, "Oh yeah, just go kill all those ghouls."
Yeah, that was one of the funner sequences I've seen in the show yet. So do they have to kill the Elvis impersonators in the game? Do you have to mess with them at all?
Like I said, you kind of have the free reign to do what you want. I mean, you could just kill them. They do get into an
open world aesthetic.
Yeah, like they do kind of get into a spat with oh god, is it the NCR? I think that's in Freeside. Or am I thinking of the Powder Gangers? It might be the NCR. Yeah, you don't have to. Like I said, you can. I mean, you can shoot anybody you feel like, honestly, and just kind of roll with the consequences. But right before, like I said, when you first, depending on what side of Freeside you go into, you'll see it clear as day. If you're going to the strip, on the left, you'll see the King's School of Impersonation, which is where they reside. And they are all dressed up in the leather jackets, the greaser fucking look, the jailhouse rock with the striped shirt like Elvis wore. And then the King himself has obviously the white suit jacket. There are some quests you can do for him where the King's just trying to like, he's kind of losing control here. Like I said, they're getting into, spats with other factions. But the important part about the King is you can do a mission for him, and you get one favor. You always get one favor from the king, and it can be whatever. Usually, the good idea is to say, "Hey, can you get me inside the Vegas Strip?" Because you get stopped by Securitrons, which apparently in this game or this show, you see them just strewn about. There's no one guarding the gate. Because you get there pretty early, and it's like an obscene amount of caps for that early in the game that you have to pay to get in. But if you use the king's favor, boom, in. That's kind of a good reason to not kill him and just try out his couple missions. So, and you can let them run free side, I believe. I think you can kind of let them take over and settle the shit with the NCR because they're getting into it with each other. There's one guy in his outfit who's kind of a dick. So, yeah.
Well, moving on to some stuff that's happening in the vault. Down in Vault 33, the inbreeding support group, appropriately named, is properly humming and is becoming very popular to the point where people who aren't even sure if they have any inbred relatives are attending. I don't know why you'd want to be associated with that group for any other reason, but okay, that's
ridiculous.
Fine. That might be because they have a snack budget, though. While the rest of the vault is on strict rationing because of the broken water chip. This creates some tension between Overseer Betty and Reg, but Reg insists that she can't take away his snack budget because it's built into the vault charter. Don't forget, Betty is from the management of Vault 31. There's no doubt she's going to find some way to put the pressure on Reg to fix this situation. Reg shows his teeth a lot in this scene. Is he the one who is ultimately going to be a power challenge to Betty?
He might be. I mean, he kind of put his foot down like, look, I don't know why you're mad that as ridiculous as I think it is. I'm like, are we really still doing this like goofy storyline of like all the people that are all realizing they're probably all inbred? It's like, guys, yeah, you've been underground for how long? Count your fingers and toes. You might have a few connected. You might be able to, as I always say, you might be a pretty good swimmer. That's a web toe joke for all you people who don't get that. So that goes over people's heads, and I love that. I'm like, oh, you're probably a great swimmer. What? Don't worry about it.
Don't think that hard about it.
Yeah, it's just proving my point further. Like, don't think about it. You can hurt yourself. Yeah, it's an interesting power dynamic. Yeah, that they're having this back and forth where like, yeah, they're struggling to have water to live, and to have crops. Like, they're only allowed to have like what did they say, like a liter a day? It's like, Jesus, that's goddamn. So, and he's kind of just like, yeah, no, this is how this works, and well, screw you. Which is probably what prompts her, Betty, to go talk to Steph from the other vault, who's the other vault's overseer. So, Betty's kind of in a rock and a hard place right now, where she's like, I can't really do anything about this guy because it's like he might be out of line, but he's right. And we're gonna die. Like, basically, we're gonna run out of water. We're not gonna make it. Although I don't think the door is like sealed. I mean, Lucy got out. I don't remember if there was some special, because some vaults are that way where like, you can't just waltz out the front door.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, somebody's there. There's like a gatekeeper, I think. That's kind of what I got out of the first season when Lucy leaves.
Yeah, usually.
There's ways to open the door to the outside, but it's rare because, they're all worried about radiation and whatnot, appropriately so.
Right.
But so there's a way out, but who the hell would want to go out there when you've got at least a relatively comfortable life in the vault that you're not going to have above ground? So whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we've never really seen him be aggressive or bold. Like, even when he had asked her about starting this inbreeding support group, it seemed like a big joke. It's like, because we were kind of laughing at it and we were having our fun with it, but now it seems like it's becoming a gang inside the prison that is the vault. It's becoming its own entity. And these people are not going to want to give up the relative comfort that they've got in this relatively uncomfortable situation.
It's going to get heated.
Yeah. So it's starting to create kind of a couple of different factions in the vault that is probably going to lead to some kind of problems.
I think that's what Betty was telling Steph. Yeah, she's like, this is going to get so much worse, and it's going to boil over.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected Reg to be the one who steps up as the leader of that group, though, because he seems so so tame, so mundane.
Right.
And then for him to walk down there with those two buckets and be like, "Oh, hi, I'm gonna get some water," she's like, "The fuck you are," and he's like, "Bitch, get out of my way." For him to be that
Right.
bold with her was a very, it was
Right.
not what I expected him to do, and he didn't do it subtly. He didn't. Well, he did it subtly, but he didn't do it mistakenly. It wasn't like he was like, "Oh, but this is just the charter, so I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do." He was daring her. I mean, the way that he was talking to her was somebody who was not, he was not backing down at all. He knew that he was saying some heavy shit to her and challenging her authority a lot. So it was not something that he didn't know he was doing, which I thought was pretty interesting. So I look forward
She was
to
from
him
Vault
because
31, right? Not 33. That's why he's kind of like, well, you're
yeah,
not really from our vault, so get the hell out of my way. Like, so
yeah,
weird part of that.
definitely an interesting dynamic now that exists because he stepped up into this more aggressive role. That's obviously going to cause some problems in Vault 33 moving forward, but I'll be there to watch that unfold because that seems like a lot of fun. But and you just mentioned a meeting they had with Vault 32. Over at Vault 32, Woody Thomas is struggling with navigating the Vault's slightly different layout, continuing a gag from earlier in the season. This
Same.
leads him to accidentally overhear a conversation between Betty and Steph, who are meeting in a liminal space between their respective vaults to discuss the fact that Vault 31 has been emptied. Realizing it's just the two of them left as the only remaining members of the management vault, Steph promptly begins to strong-arm Betty. She refuses to help with Vault 33's water crisis because it would make it harder for Vault 32 to survive, but she makes Betty a deal. If she brings Steph Hank McLean's keepsake box from Vault 33, she'll give her access to the water. It didn't take long for the last remaining managers to go at each other's throats, and it makes it even more interesting for future times in the vault. I thought this meeting was, the clandestineness of it was interesting. The fact that it kind of has Betty back on her heels a little bit. It's definitely their hat in hand. I mean, it's what is, we haven't paid much attention to Stephanie so far in this season, but it's definitely getting there. I mean, what is she up to? And am I not remembering what is in that box? Because I feel like it was probably mentioned in season 1 and I'm missing it. But what is it? What is it exactly that she's after?
I'm trying to remember too, and I don't know why. I'm just like trying to remember. I'm like, is Stephanie important? I don't know. She's just kind of here, and we're just like checking in on her, and I'm like, I don't remember what the hell or why the hell she's in the position she's in, because clearly she seems to be important to some degree, and we saw a little bit more unfold about her character. What's his name? Chet, her husband, or whoever, probably her cousin. I don't fucking know, or her brother. I don't.
Her cock. I don't know. That's what he is.
Poor fucking guy, man. Just,
I know. He deserves better. He deserves better.
He does. See, we're here for chat, and in Stranger Things, we're here for Ted Wheeler. Damn it, these guys need some love. All right.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody, I don't know if we saw it, but like I said, there's as we're seeing, there's more to Hank McLean than we originally saw, and we're seeing more of it unfold as the story goes on. I think like when even the ghoul mentions to Lucy, like, yo, you think those NCR guys would help you if they knew what your daddy did to Shady Sands? And I was like, it's not her fault, man. She didn't do that. She was a kid too, for one thing. Like, yeah, maybe they wouldn't have tried to help her, but yeah, this guy's up to some shit. And there's an important thing, and I saw somebody put a theory out there, which I can probably agree with. I think I might know what's in Hank McLean's safe box, which also I made a joke about the game as we were watching. I'm like, wow, sounds like your lockpick skill sucks, Stephanie. Get better. I'm like, I wasn't even level 20 and I can open master locks. Now, what are you doing with your life? You know what I mean? Nothing keeps me out. I always go for that. Speech and lockpicking, man. That's the way to go. And guns. I always take guns as a perk because obviously. But something here, you know what? I'm going to use some pictures here. I'm going somewhere with this. What I think might be in that case, when we see Norm with friggin' lunch boy here, I'm gonna keep calling him that. I don't remember his name because I don't care to. He's got that shit-eating grin and he's got a punchable face. When
Ronnie is his name. Ronnie.
Roddy, okay.
Ronnie, yeah,
When
Ronnie, yeah, Ronnie.
Ronnie. I do kind of love the scene between Ronnie and Norm where it's almost like they're kind of, I mean, if by game logic, I'm like, Norm is using all of the speech stats, which also do help you lie. I mean, you can lie to characters too. And again, depending how high your speech is, you can get away with shit. I'm like, he is hitting every speech skill check on these people. But one person that comes up to him is this guy who I'm like, he might know. It's like, even though I might be, the guy who gets the coffee, he's probably heard some stuff or knows something. And he probably knows that Norm might be full of shit. He just kind of this cat and mouse between the two of them was kind of interesting. But what I was this I think this was actually like the shot I paused it on because I stopped and had to explain this because I'm like I think even Ronnie has the wool pulled over his eyes that I don't think you actually know what you're into right now because where is it the next because it has the quote because we have the captions on and I saw him say that shit. I stopped it because I said oh shit, oh my god, I know what that is. You were told it's something called the Future Enterprise Ventures. And I was like, no. If you look at that acronym, that's the FEV, which is something completely different. If you know the game, that is a horrifying thought. Because he said that's the original, that's the plan for these vaults and the people in it. Because as we know, Vault Tech is full of some shady shit. I think that is that's obviously heavily implying that's the FEV virus, the forced evolutionary virus, which started in California, and it's the reason that we have super mutants in the game. It was to, it's think of like Deadpool. You force this guy to basically mutate, and you're rolling the dice. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna come out of it. You're gonna get superpowers. You're gonna turn into a giant freak. That's kind of what happened. So I thought, oh dear God, is that what they were going to do to these vaults? Or at least the people in them. And the theory was that I saw online is someone thinks that in that case of Hank's, or in that safe box, might be a vial or something of the forced evolutionary virus. Which is funny because Stephanie has water in her vault. You can't, it's been done in the games before. You have to have it like directly administered to you, or like there's like vats of it because this game came out in the late '90s. So big glowing green vat of crap, stick somebody in there, boom.
The Lazarus pit.
Yeah, like some Batman and Joker type shit. You fall in the vat of acid, and that shit'll change you. But you could put it into the water supply, which also kind of happened in 3, where you can with Project Purity. Where you could clean the radiated water, or the Enclave is like, hey, or you could not. You could stick this in the water, and it's gonna kill everything that drinks it that is radiated, and all the pure people who aren't radiated are gonna live. I'm like, that's shitty. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna clean water for everybody, because that's what Dad would have wanted. My dad, who's voiced by Liam Neeson in Fallout 3. I'm like, yeah, what the hell. So cool. When he said those 3 words and I saw those letters, I'm like, oh dear Jesus Christ. That's a bigger implication than whatever he thinks future enterprise endeavors, whatever the hell he thought it was. I'm like, dude, I think you're even being played for a fool. I think they were planning on putting that evolutionary virus into people, and it was not going to be pretty. That might be what is inside Hank McLean's safe box. And if Stephanie gets a hold of that and they put that shit in the water, well, boom. Everybody's kind of screwed because, as it goes with most vaults and their experiments, because I wondered, like, there has to be something horrifying. Not just the fact that, there's 3 vaults that all triannually, whatever the hell they said, they all get together and they trade. I'm like, no, that can't be it. There's something bad going on here.
Is the FEV something that they were working on that gave us Deathclaw? Is there some relation between those two things?
There could, because as I was reading this, there could be. They now have said they've updated the Fallout stuff to say that now there have been various forms and various strains of it throughout the series, which made me think that could be. they could have forced it into an animal because they would try it on an animal first, right? And maybe that's what the product, the Death Claw became as a result. It's the role of a super weapon for various antagonists, like the Master. That's from the first game. He creates super mutants for his army. Unity, they may the Enclave to enact genocide on the rest of humanity. Yeah. In the Fallout series, there are multiple strains of FEV tailored to the specific goals for controlling entities. Strain responsible for creating the Unity, whatever that is, in New California. Maybe that's something we haven't seen yet. So there are other strains of it. I'm trying to get ahead of myself. There's other strains of this virus that could be what have made the Death Claw, and it could have existed, 200 years ago. Yeah, it's like I said, you're kind of playing with odds. You don't really know what it's going to do or what it's going to create. You get a whole race of super mutants that are now your super soldiers, not super soldiers, but that's your that's your army of doing your bidding, or it's to control different people. Yeah, that could be
interesting. But we'll talk more about Deathclaw here in a minute, because I definitely want to break down that final scene a little bit and get your thoughts. But before we do that, let's see. The naivete of Vault Dwellers knows no bounds. Although Woody reports his violation of Vault communication policy to Steph herself, so he's expecting her to hold herself accountable, which she obviously will not. And instead, he just paints a large target on his own back. Now I'm kind of nervous for Woody, of course. Chet overhears and seems to understand the gravity of the situation. At least anyway, he does. He does end up finding a false bottom on one of Stephanie's drawers as he's folding her laundry. Mm-hmm. And he discovers her wallet from before the apocalypse with her Canadian ID revealing her true age. Steph is feeling really villainous this season. Like I said, we haven't got a whole lot of her, but it's looking like she's going to become important as we go on. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. Obviously, it says she was born in 2045. If you look at that ID, what year are they in now, roughly?
Right now they're in about 2296.
Yeah, so she's an elderly person, supposedly. Anyway,
she was frozen, right? She was also frozen with a lot of them, so
Chet was born and raised in the Vault, then, right? As I recall.
Yeah, I believe he's actually been. Yeah, they were probably all unthawed, and
a lot of these people are just not aware that the Vault overseers are people who are unfrozen and then put in place that are actually hundreds of years old. So this is all news to him. So he's going to figure all this shit out. Of course, he's there the whole time listening to the conversation between Steph and Woody. So he's intaking a lot of information that I know he's going to put together. I forgot what the hell the question I was going to ask on this one was. Where is this going? I mean, this only ends badly for somebody, probably for Woody. But I mean, where do you think this is going to go?
I love Woody, man. I don't want him to go. That sucks. That was cool. Like, I think even Rachel was like, dude, the balls on Woody to sit there and just be like, hey, so there was a violation. And it was you. Like, I was like, dude, you might realize what you're doing, but I'm like, I don't know if you realize that's probably bad news bears for you, buddy. You're going to get lost in that vault again and not find your way back to your room. I'm just saying. Well, and I agree with Woody. That same. I get so goddamn turned around trying to navigate vaults in the game. I'm like, that's real. That's real shit. God. I'm like, what floor am I on? Where's the sign? That's this way. Yeah, right. Okay. God. But I think I'm assuming Chet didn't know about that either, and he's kind of realizing she's maybe not who she says she is. She's clearly from the pre-war. So if she was born in 45, that means she was the bombs fell in 77. So she's probably pushing not quite 30, but when that shit all went down. And that's what's interesting is about the people that Norma's with, like that lady who was sitting there staring. I think there's a picture of her somewhere. Her. She's sitting there staring at the bridge, and Norm's like, "What are we looking at?" She's like, oh yeah, I was driving across that bridge last week. I was like, no, you weren't, sweetheart. About 200 years ago last week you were. But yeah, it's like some of them don't realize that. And like I said, I think Chet's realizing, oh, she's not, not as old as the rest of us. Also, the interesting part about that card he found is I'm like, it said status pending. I'm like, so she wasn't even a citizen. I'm like, where'd she come from? Who was she with? Is she met? Yeah, it still says status pending for Canada, which is really interesting because it's United States. It's an annexed territory. It's a weird. The U.S. annexes Canada, which is kind of funny. The result of all this crap. It's one of the loading screens. It's so funny. You see like a map. You see all the arrows going up into Canada, and it says U.S. annexes Canada. I'm like, that's so funny. I mean, like I said, if you want to giggle, just watch some of this lore. It's awesome. Yeah. So she came from somewhere. She's been in somebody's pocket. That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, so she's supposed to be important. I have a feeling Woody's not long for this world, and Chet might also be in trouble. So, yeah, Steph's in on some stuff. She might. We didn't see what she did on that computer, so she might know what's in that lockbox or have an idea. And like I said, if she puts that shit into the water in her own vault, well, you can say goodbye to Vault 32 as well. So, man.
Yeah, inside, I want this bitch to die because I feel like she's like an uber villain, but I want to see it play out first because it's gonna be so much better. But last, certainly not least,
yeah, Patrick. Of course, she's a villain. You ever seen the Bond movie? Yeah, she's clearly a villain.
She's clearly a villain. Yeah, the question is what level of villain is she going to be? She's probably not the main one. She's not as bad right now as Hank, in my opinion, at least not that I've seen anyway. I don't know. Again, I don't know much about the games, but I mean, it's obvious that she is not at his level yet. But either A, she's trying to be, or B, circumstances are going to push her that direction. But again, it depends on what in the lockbox that she wants to get her hands on. If it is, as you say, some kind of mutating virus thing, then yeah, she's going for the asshole gold medal. But it could be something that she thinks is going to help, and maybe is going to end up making things worse. I don't really know. But obviously they make their way. Lucy and the Ghoul find the main strip of New Vegas completely deserted. The Ghoul wants to head to a neighborhood on the other side of town called Freeside to find out what happened. Yeah. But Lucy starts yelling heedlessly. It doesn't take long to find out why there are no people. Lucy's Pip-Boy starts clicking from radiation nearby, and she finds a massive cracked egg. Cues some ominous roars, and a Deathclaw emerges from one of the buildings, ready to defend its turf. It looks amazing. This is the best view we get of this entire episode. And boy, it's awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Obviously, next week cannot get here fast enough because I want to know where the where this battle ends up. Obviously, it's not going to kill both of them or either of them, really. But the one thing I found very interesting is like this is the first time we've seen this expression on the Ghoul's face over the course of this entire series. This is obviously a throwback to a very specific, very terrifying memory for him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this affects Mr. Tough Guy over here with no nose. I don't know, Jeremy, this is a badass closing scene. What do you think of it?
Yeah, when like that picture you had earlier, I'm like, yeah, when Lucy's just kind of like, oh yeah, it'll be fine, great, happy, and he is doing that face. I'm like, Lucy, that is the face you should be having right now. Yep. I know you're drugged out, but you need to come down a little bit. You need to snap out of it because holy fuck, you don't realize. I mean, I know she drops the thing, she looks at it and goes, huh, okie dokie. I'm like, damn it. Yeah, that's gotta be horrifying. Yeah, because if you saw that fucker, I mean, it came out of the Gomorrah, which I mean that sucks. That's a fun casino. That's where all the strippers are. So that's a big oof. We saw. I was scanning the strip, and even I think they said the same things I was saying. I'm like, aren't there supposed to be people here? And I'm like, yeah, there's supposed to be. We see the Lucky 38, of course, which is important. That's where Mr. House usually is. In the background, I did see it, Vault 22, which is on the strip. There's a little neon sign still lit up for Vault 22. There's the Tops Casino, obviously the Gomorrah, like I said. But where everyone else is, I mean, they might be lunch for that thing. I also heard it because that's a like audio cue in the back of my head. I was like, do I hear clicking? Do I hear radiation? Do I hear her Geiger counter going off? And I saw her screen light up. I was like, Lucy, do you realize? And he even says like, it's radiation. I'm like, oh, it is. Oh shit. They turn and see this big behemoth standing in front of them. I think it looks awesome. We were trying to look. I'm like, if that's CG, that's done very well. If not, I think it might be practical. It might be a mix of the two. I mean, if that's a practical, like a puppet or animatronic or something, that thing is solid. I like the way. I mean, I don't know if they really had horns like that. I don't know if they really had horns that were going forward like that too much. I like this design from the show. It's pretty menacing. There's all kinds of different death claws. There's blind ones. There's albino ones. There's alphas. There's even like baby death claws, but that's in a different part of Vegas. That's over in the quarry. Don't go to the quarry unless you've got the like anti-material rifle, the big 50 cal, and you're stocked up on some ammo because you're gonna have a bad time. There's about like 30 of these things just roaming around. Yeah, that's one hell of a way to close out with this big monster because I'm really hoping there's more of it. I don't want it to be just like a one-off scene. I'm like, that's something you want to have be a constant threat, or at least enough of a threat to him.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he's kind of like what the T-Rex always seems to be in the Jurassic Park movies. Like
I was getting some Jurassic Park vibes, yeah.
Yeah, not the hero, but kind of like the one who manages to come in and wreak the right kind of chaos so the heroes can get away. Like the T-Rex always seems to do that in most of the Jurassic Park movies. I've always kind of liked that. But I wonder if he's gonna if this monster is going to inject itself into a big battle or a situation sometime later in the season that ends a bigger battle and kind of lets everybody run away, because it's like we have to stop fighting each other for a minute and either fight this thing together or get the hell out of Dodge, or else in this it's going to kill us all. So I wonder if it's going to play that kind of a role. I mean, I don't know though, because I also feel like just narratively I've seen stuff like this in TV shows like this a million times over the years, that eventually like this monster is going to get killed by something and it's not going to be significant past that. But I don't really know. I'm interested because for one, this monster looks badass, and for two, I'm interested in this. I mean, this absolute shock and fear that he has on his face right now is not. It's not something we usually see from him. We usually see him, chilling out like this. He's very content, very aware of what's going on.
Very Clint Eastwood, just kind of chilling.
And to see this look on his face of genuine shock and like, holy shit, what do I do now? I've seen this before. I've watched him wipe out a bunch of people with guns. And I don't know why it didn't wipe me out, but it got distracted, obviously, when he was laying there in his malfunctioning suit. He could have gotten just worked over by this monster, but didn't. It's an interesting way to leave this off because we're not used to seeing the ghoul kind of on his heels like that. So I mean, what's he going to do? Is he going to grab Lucy and turn tail and run? Is he going to try to fight? Is he going to try to fight this thing? Maybe he feels like he's a bit more ready now that he's a ghoul rather than just some human being in a suit all so many years ago. But I'm interested to see how this plays out for him, because this could be his kind of kryptonite, his bugaboo. You know what I mean?
That's just about anybody's kryptonite, to be fair.
Fair enough.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. I was actually playing Fallout 4 the other day, and I actually got saved by a Deathclaw in a weird way. Look, it was a boss battle. He had a Tesla cannon, which arcs electricity like stupid. I mean, I had a rifle, so I'm like scoping in, trying to shoot him. I'm just picking at him because I can't get too close, and he's just pummeling me with this fucking rifle, and I'm like, God, I can't do anything about it. I'm in the glowing sea, and if you know what the glowing sea is from 4, it's not a place you want to be because it's just full of radiation constantly, just clouds of it, like rain. It's not a fun place. And there are Deathclaws roaming around because, of course, they thrive in that shit. I'm just dodging. There's a crashed like airliner. That's where I'm fighting this guy at. So I'm moving in and out of like the fuselage parts, like trying to get shots on him. And I ran, and I swear I smacked like almost chest bump right into a Deathclaw. I was like, come on, not now. God damn it. Fuck, shit. Like in the first season where he's like, oh, fuck, running away. I'm like, come on, not now, dude. I ran to a different part of the, like in the fuselage of the plane that was down. I sat down behind one of the rows of seats and I was aiming and I was like, he's not following me. That's weird. I scope in, I look, and then there he is swiping at the fucking boss that I was trying to fight, and I watched him just boom, take him right out. And I was like, oh. And we're gonna wait for you to just walk the other way.
Yeah, I'm just
because he completed it for me.
I
I heard the ding of the the quest being done because it said I had to defeat the boss person, and the death call walked away. I was like, oh good, they aggroed each other and the problem sorted itself out. So, and I didn't feel like fighting another one because I already killed one like a few minutes before that. I didn't feel like wasting that much more ammo. So yeah, they could be like a T-Rex, and they could, in a weird way, end up helping you out. So.
I do want to go back to something and get your thoughts on real quick that I forgot to bring up a little bit ago before we wrap this up. Obviously, Lucy has a moment after she fights the Kings. You can see her finger right there. She's got a little bit of a reaction to the drugs, let's just say. Obviously, she's gonna have to choose between the whatever is helping her be Super Lucy and going back to being regular Lucy and maybe letting the ghoul do all the heavy lifting when it comes to the killing. Is this something that happens in the game, or is this something that's unique to the TV show? Because I feel like it's something they threw in here in a TV show for something else.
Maybe because like they mentioned, he's like, you could either just keep kind of feeding this and kind of accept it since you are addicted. She might be having some effects. I just remember what it was called now. I looked it up. There is something called Addictol, which actually it's a powerful anti-addiction drug, which essentially can remove most of your effects and most of your addictions and shit. So I'm like, well, unless you have some of that, Lucy, I'm like, you might have to go the other route and do what the ghoul says and do more drugs. So yeah, she might be tweaking out and trying to come down, and she's having a weird adverse effect to it, especially since she's never done it before. So yeah, I don't know. That could be a point moving forward that she might, since she now I think has afflicted with an addiction. Unless she has, it's like a little inhaler, kind of like what the ghoul uses, but he uses one that gives him. I don't think it's jet. There's one that's like an inhale, so it keeps him going. But the Addictol is also like a inhaler type thing, which will cure you of all your stuff. So I mean, unless she happens to find some of that laying around, I think she might kind of be stuck in her ways of needing to do drugs now to function.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where her whole addiction thing plays out, because I think it's going to be a hard choice for her to make.
Like that. That's going to be funny.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that he would, him being the prick that he is, I'm sure he'd probably try to find some way to use it against her.
Well, I'm saying it might be to her advantage. I'm like, she might, because even when she says like, "Oh, I want to bring him to justice," and we're like, "What does that even mean, Lucy? What do you mean? What are you gonna do?" Maybe that might help kind of get her to make a decision a little easier. It might. Yeah, kneecap. Yeah, but not dad person. Drugs.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here, because again, there was a lot that happened, a lot of really cool things that is setting up a lot of other really cool things that are coming in the next several episodes. I don't remember, how many episodes is this season? Did we say it was 8 or 10?
8 sounds right. So if that's true, or half, or maybe just under halfway. So yeah, I don't know actually.
Fallout. Let me go look real quick because I'm curious. Okay. Fallout Season 2 episodes. 8 episodes. So we've got we've got the Wrangler. Yeah, the Wrangler, which actually just came out Wednesday. We're a little bit behind, so that one's already out.
I bet that's the Atomic Wrangler.
And then we've got 3 more after that are coming out. Let's see, the 4th of February is when the last one's supposed to drop. So yeah, there's not a whole lot left. I mean, there's still a lot though. I'm not going to go into the plot of the Wrangler, but Hank will be coming back into the fold. Apparently, that's all I'm gonna go into.
I think we're in Freeside, the Atomic Wrangler, but that's probably all I can probably tell you. I don't know what's going on, but you tell me Hank's in this thing again. Yeah, I've been telling people, I'm like, I think he might be one of my new favorite like fictional villains. This dude, man. Oh my god, you just want to hate this guy so much, as you should.
Yeah, I'm reading a little bit of the plot. It's going to get pretty interesting. I'm not going to go into any of it. This next episode is going to be pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm excited for what's coming. Yeah, this obviously there's going to be Hank is going to be in the episode. I think maybe Lucy will finally end up in the room at some point if I'm the right way. I'll read a little more closely when we're done here, but I'm excited the rest of the way out. It's looking like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I don't know, Jeremy, final thoughts on Demon in the Snow?
Yeah, this was a good episode. There's a lot of questions, a lot of things that like I said, I might have an answer to. I'm glad I'm that much of a deep cut nerd that I saw, somebody say something that I'm like, that spells out an acronym of something different, my guy. It's not your future, endeavors that's gonna, boldly go where no one goes before, or whatever the hell they said in Star Trek. Yeah, future enterprise ventures. I'm like, that might still actually be accurate, but I think the method is the difference there, bud. We're putting viruses in people, and God knows what's gonna happen. So yeah, I might get some conversations with Hank McLean finally, and I think we're running tail from this death claw to start with. So that might be a banger way to open this episode, this next one. So that might be what forces them into free side. Maybe they end up getting into there to kind of get away from this thing. So
yeah, I feel like everybody's character is being pushed on a different path kind of suddenly right now. So I'm feeling like Norm is going to have to maybe kill Lunch Boy, because if he's going to be the one that kind of challenges the power. I mean, Lunch Boy's got a punchable face already. He's got a little bit of a tune to him. So I have a feeling that the Norm's going to push to the point where it's going to be like, if I want to continue my charade and do whatever I'm doing, like this girl seems a bit more pliable.
Yeah.
Like maybe she's going to fall for it. So obviously, they come face to face here at some point, and Norm may have to make the decision to do the unthinkable in order to keep his charade going. But that's my guess. I could be wrong. But yeah, there's so many moving parts in this season. All of a sudden, it's like you have, the ghoul is obviously freaked out by this monster, which is kind of a new thing. You've got the Civil War that's starting. You've got now the cold fusion reactors back in play. Lucy and her addiction. Hank is still out there. There's a lot going on right now, and they've done a pretty good job in this episode of keeping. Well, I mean, and Stephanie being whatever the hell she is. There's a lot happening right now, and I hope it doesn't get bogged down with a lot of having to move too quickly from one plot to another, because I don't want good stuff to get lost because we have to focus on other things. So maybe I will hope they'll slow it down at some point, but. I mean, right now I have no problems. I mean, they're doing what they're doing. It's their barbecue and it tastes good. That's all I'm saying. So,
right.
I'm just going with it for right now. But there is a lot happening, but they're working it pretty well. They're working everything in the right time pretty well. So, but some of these things are not going to. They're not things that have to play out over the course of the next couple of episodes. Some of these things probably will, but. Some of these things are obviously going to be longer term story arcs, but yeah, it's been a good show so far, a good season so far. I've really liked it. Again, the characters are going off in wild directions. They're being redefined with almost every episode, especially Maximus. He's had huge his thing has just changed completely, and I've enjoyed the ride. But obviously we'll be back next week to do episode 5, which is called The Wrangler. I have a feeling that one's going to get Jeremy just as excited.
Oh yeah, I might have some ideas.
Is seeing the monster, whatever it's called,
Deathclaw.
I knew it was Death something. I was trying to look at my notes real quick, but I couldn't find it fast enough. I knew it was Death something. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with Deathclaw. If it's a long-term thing that we have to fight a lot, I would be happy with that because it looks badass on TV. And I'm interested to see where a lot of this stuff goes. Again, there's only 4 episodes left after this, so Again, we're kind of finding ourselves in a Stranger Things situation where it's like we're getting down to the end, at least of the season. We know there's a third season coming, so not all this stuff has to be summed up.
Well, and not like 10 years between each season, at least. This show's been cranking it out. So
yeah, they've actually set a good production schedule, unlike Stranger Things. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting going forward. I'm very excited to see where this thing heads from here on out. So yeah, it's exciting. But Jeremy, where can the folks find you, my friend?
I'm here Tuesday and Thursdays. I think we're on the final episode of Stranger Things, so that'll be Tuesday. And then, of course, we're back for more Fallout. And like I said, we're running out of Stranger Things, so hey, we might be able to just keep pumping these weeks full of Fallout for the next good while.
Yeah, we'll be able to get caught up on Fallout once we're done with Stranger Things. So
yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I know 28 years later, the Bone Temple comes out this weekend, which I completely just forgot about until, yesterday. I was like, oh, yeah, right, that comes out. Cool. I don't know if we plan on doing something with that. I might still go see it at least. I'm kind of curious.
I'm probably going to go see it this weekend. I don't know how we're going to squeeze a review in, but we'll talk about it.
I don't know. We'll work it out on the ground. I don't know. I might go see it at least. But that's kind of all I got going on.
Yeah, as for me, you will find me back here, like I said, like Jeremy said, Tuesdays and Thursdays, the last episode of Stranger Things, The Right Side Up, the 7.5-hour series finale. We're going to be breaking that down on Tuesday.
God.
Like I said, it went quick. I could have watched it twice back to back. It was so good. But we're going to break that down on Tuesday, and then we'll get everything caught up with Fallout. And then, I don't know, we'll probably take a little bit of a break like we usually do early in the year to kind of reset. I got some things around here. I'm going to be moving the studio space around a bit to get some better views, better angles, but I'll probably do that then. But yeah, there'll be plenty of review coming out later in the year, obviously not just Doomsday, but obviously there's some other things coming out. But yeah, the first half of 2026 is kind of light. Even the summer movie season seems kind of light. What were you saying? Go ahead.
Oh, and Iron Lung, the movie that Markiplier made, comes out at the end of this month.
Yes.
There's that too.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll get around to all this stuff at some point. But thanks to my my header life mate Jeremy for being so knowledgeable about everything Fallout as usual.
Do the thing.
Yeah. We'll have to get a T-shirt made. But yeah, so submit your designs for our T-shirt for that. Maybe I'll give you a couple bucks for it. And we will see you guys on Tuesday. Till then, adios. I mean, radiation, monsters. I mean, God, if you just describe this to me, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds pretty badass. Make me the movie. Show me the movie.
Like I said, it's almost like, I mean, there's a game about this. If you want to go explore the world for yourself, it's fun.
I've thought about it. I don't have time to play these open world games like I used to. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do something stupid and stream it one night. I don't know.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.